I'm back with Dimitri Vlachos, CMO from Devo. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
Last time we kind of geeked out on the technology layers.
Yep.
So what are the common use cases that people use your security tools for?
I'd say three main use cases. So security analytics, right? Being able to do investigations, threat hunting, and detection. Those are kind of the key core use cases where we have customers using us for. Customers are rapidly expanding their footprint, right? They've gone through massive digitalization from new applications they're spinning up to new ways to reach their customers. And they're finding a lot of the older tools they had can't cover that, both in terms of the amount of data, but more importantly also the types of data and the rapid changing nature of that data source.
Okay. What else?
So the
threat hunting, I think.
Threat hunting is a big one. Fraud has been one anti-fraud, where people are more and more e-commerce online, and they're seeing bots come in and actually do purchases, right? So it's how do I protect my inventory, how to protect my brand? So that's kind of fraud detection at a real-time kind of speed. That's another big use case. So and then good old threat investigation, right? I've found something, I know something's going on. How do I rapidly respond, find the data to actually go, and then automate that response?
And with the retrospective capabilities, because you can retain so much data, you can go back in time and look, and maybe this started a year ago.
I mean, unfortunately, right, if you look at the stats, we know that typically when people actually learn about an incident, it's been in there for a long time. So the ability to really go back and understand it is critical.
Okay. Now, as you know, SOPA is a very tightly integrated architecture.
Yep.
It's based on open standards, and so there are lots of different tools that may participate. Who are you integrating with? Not who, but what types of technologies?
Sure. I look at it as kind of two major ways we integrate. One is, we have a customer's data. Mm-hmm. Now we want to bring in a lot of intelligence. So you look at infrastructure data, logs, machine data, telemetry. We'll bring in threat intelligence, right, to enhance that data. We'll also bring a lot of business context data in. So for example, we talked about, well, you're looking at threat hunting or investigation. Well, how do we merge that with customer billing information? Where was that customer, who was that customer, what were they doing? We look at the different applications they might be using and be able to trace the customer and who's affected by it. So that's one type of integration, is bringing other enhancements of data to get a much richer view of the story. So that's one set. Another set is really downstream. Well, how do we now automate the response? So we've learned a lot of intelligence. We've detected things. It might be in real time that we're doing automated correlation and detection. It might be that we've investigated and want to kick off a response. So we have integrations downstream with SOAR vendors and other types of automation to automate that response.
And I would imagine the security controls as well, to like update a rule or put quarantine a system, those kinds of
Absolutely. That's the different playbooks and different automations that we see downstream. Absolutely. We also see people integrate with us to use it for a more general platform for getting their data out, whether that's a BI tool. As we're seeing broader teams want access, right? We're able to provide them access to that data completely open.
Okay. Now, started as a general purpose tool, moved to cybersecurity expertise. What kind of cybersecurity resources do you have? How are you enhancing the product for a cybersecurity specific audience?
We've built a couple things. One, we have a targeted solution that sits on top of our platform that is specifically viewed at analyst workflow. So how to go from, whether it's detection, whether it's looking at incidents and investigation. And we have a team now, we have a dedicated security team that's building and enhancing and continuing to develop this solution.
Okay. And I would imagine you have some field resources or people, cybersecurity expertise working with customers as well.
Absolutely.
Professional services, or is that a third-party thing?
No, professional services is part of the way a lot of the organizations we will interact with are quite advanced in their security analytics and their security program. They love our out-of-the-box capabilities, both the platform as well as this purpose-built security solution. But they also want to build, how can I go build a purpose-built solution for our business? So they might build it themselves. It's very easy to build those yourselves. They might work with us to build those. But that's where we do have professional services to help with that type of work.
Okay, so final question. You've worked with me for a couple of years. You've seen the SOPA architecture. Where do you think SOPA goes over the next year or two?
So I think there's a couple aspects to that. One, I think SOPA is a great platform or architecture for going broader than security. The same issues we're seeing of the expansion of the enterprise architecture, the rapid expansion of the number of endpoints and interactions that you have to secure, you also have to monitor those for performance. So, and that same rich data set is great for that as well.
Yeah.
So we see SOPA, I guess, a couple of things. One is expanding beyond security a little, but two, also making sure that that data is not just security. We really have a mantra of all data is security data. So it's not just security data that we typically think of, whether it's endpoint security, infrastructure, you have to bring in all these other types of data. And that's where I think it's going.
And at the same time, the security use case is changing. It's getting more expanded. The attack surface is growing. So you have to bring in more data just to
keep up.
Just to keep up security.
Absolutely. And so I think there's that, with also the ability to really have the analytics to do that. And there's two aspects to that. There's bringing, whether you want to ML, right? There's all the buzzwords of ML, but I think it's true of how do you bring advanced analytics directly into the domain of security. We're also seeing that large organizations have data science teams that are aiding in that.
Sure.
So the ability to have an architecture that allows data scientists to work with that data, look at it, deploy their models on it, that's a key piece we also see as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, well, thanks for stopping by.
No worries, thank you.
And we'll continue the video series as the year progresses.